first phase of most injuries is some amount of unloading. So you're diagnosed with a bone stress injury, you have to take some things off the plate. If you're diagnosed with a tendon-related disorder, you might need to just change one or two things, but we probably need to do a little less of something. Then we want to make sure you can progress through phase 2. Can you go through your ADLs, your day-to-day activities? Now, most of the time with tendon pain, this isn't much of an issue. With bone stress injuries, we want to make sure that you can get to your typical step count before we add much else into what you're doing. As we move on to phase 3, that's when we start to add in some type of progressive exercise. Ideally, we're going to get you upright on one leg, progressively loading that tendon or bone, ensuring that we're having low-level symptoms with tendons and zero symptoms with bone. We then want to make sure we're going through plyometrics, and finally, we're approaching running. That progression of phase 1 through 5 is pretty standard with bone stress injuries. With tendons, we might be able to plug in at some point along there and not necessarily have to work through each one of those phases. And once we get back through some type of a run progression, then we can try to figure out what's the right variable to progress next.